Welcome to Emotionally Baked, where emotions and baking are the two most perfect ingredients. Hello and welcome back to Emotionally Baked, the podcast where we talk about our emotions while baking, all in hopes of just baking it out, talking it out, and having fun along the way. Welcome to our next episode. Today we're making some bread and continuing our discussion on body image, dysmorphia, all that kind of thing. So the recipe I am using today is it is so cute. It's called Let the Baking Begin website. Super cute. Love the name. And it's kind of like a sweetbread, so you could probably use this for a lot of things. So I'm making it just in like a general, so that I can maybe, I don't know, I might use it to make French toast or just to have in the morning for breakfast. You could use it for a lot, I'm assuming, just a lot of different things. So before we get started, I did have a previous podcast, even though I might not have it up yet. I'm still trying to figure it out how to transfer it from my live that I did. So if you had seen episode 15, if it's skipped on the list of podcasts, that's because I tried to do a live podcast and I was going to do it here on YouTube, but I don't have enough followers or enough something to go live. So I need to make sure that I do that so that I can go live again on YouTube. So I'm trying to still edit it out of the live that I did on Instagram to put on here, so it may or may not be up at this point. So, but in that live podcast, I did talk about body dysmorphia, body image things, where it all started, kind of like how from high school, you know, sometimes, well, at least I didn't, I wasn't thinking about, you know, necessarily what I looked like or anything like that. High school was just, you know, just go, 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 and all the things, and we're going to continue that discussion. But before I get started, I'm having a cup of coffee this morning, and I am getting started. Since we're making bread, I have a warm cup of milk here. Actually, it's only half a cup of milk. I'm going to test it. Make sure it's not too hot. So I did warm it up. Now, some important kind of tidbits about making bread. Number one, always look at your whatever yeast that you get. If you have it in packets, it's probably fine. My yeast says refrigerate after opening. When I was first making bread, I had never even read the top of this, and I wasn't even thinking that I should keep my yeast in the refrigerator. And then I was like, oh, okay. And it also says use within 6 months, because you don't want your yeast, so yeast can go, what is the word? Flat, like it won't rise, and it won't do anything. So you want it, that's what you want it to do. So another cool thing, and I've seen in recipes before, and I sometimes skipped over it, and I wasn't quite sure what the meaning of it was, but just so you know, whenever you're rising, so I had bread maker. I don't know how many of you, when me and my husband were getting married, that was like the thing to put on your registry, was a bread maker. And let me tell you, we got a couple and we had to return some because people weren't taking it off our registry. But that's how I made bread. And the bread recipes that were attached to the bread maker always said, do not let your yeast touch the water, like the liquids that you put in. So I was always scared to have that happen. And it's so funny now as a baker to like, we activate our yeast. Activating mean that we're getting it all that, it's gonna froth up into our liquid. And the reason why you don't want the liquid too hot is that it could deactivate it instead of activate it. So, and the other cool thing is I also learned is that if you put sugar into either whatever you're rising it in, water or milk. I'm doing milk, so I'm putting a teaspoon of sugar into this milk. It helps the yeast to rise, which is, it's weird. I don't know. I don't understand the science behind it. So I'm gonna put the yeast that's in the recipe, so 2 teaspoons, into the milk. And I am gonna stir it. Gonna give it a little stir. And what we're looking for is the yeast to start frothing. I'm gonna get all that yeast off of stuck to the teaspoon. Okay. We're gonna look for it to start frothing and bubbling, and yeah, because that's how we know it's gonna be good and work. So yeah. Anywho, and also that's gonna get all good while we do the rest. I'm going to put everything right into here, into my stand mixer. Not my favorite bowl, because the stand mixer is going to do all the work for me today. I'm going to put everything in here, put the dough hook on, and literally just let it mix. And it's gonna do all the work, do all the hard stuff for me. And really the hard part is just getting all of this in, all of the ingredients in, and then letting it rise. It'll have to rise a couple of times. Don't worry, we're not gonna stay on here for the hour or two that it's gonna take to rise. We're just gonna get it all mixed up. I'll show you what the dough looks like. And basically after the dough's done, I feel like now the recipe that I'm linking does have you kind of braid it or make it look cute. I feel like you could do whatever you want in whatever capacity. So let's get our ingredients together. Okay, I just went to wash my eggs and look how fluffy that is. That's what you want. You want your yeast to puff up and rise, and that's amazing. Okay, so we're gonna just start adding all of the ingredients that are on the list into the stand mixer bowl. And I'm going to sift the flour. That's the one thing. But after that, I'm just gonna put the rest of the milk, the flour, the sugar, 4 egg yolks, just the yolk, and the sour cream, the vanilla, butter, and salt. I'm gonna put them in there. So I'm gonna be cracking some egg yolks. I have 2 bowls because I don't trust myself. So I'm gonna, put the whites in a bowl, put the yolks in a bowl. Yeah. Anyway, so what I'm thinking is the last time that we left off. I'm just trying to remember where I left off about body image and things. Is I talked about having my first 2 children and just kind of struggling with how my body was changing. Sorry, there's a little bit of a fly that is bothering my recording. Thank you, fly. Anyway, and so yeah, I was talking about how after, and this is just for me because I know that anybody, doesn't matter, anybody can experience body issue, body dysmorphia, body just, I don't want to say just body issues all the time, but I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. Anybody can experience them, I think. These are just my experiences that I've had. So after having 2 children, it was definitely eye-opening to see how my body was changing, and how, I think I said before that I literally had like my feet change size. That is the weirdest part of pregnancy and all that to me is that you can actually, I mean, obviously you change sizes because of like, either the weight gain or whatever, but like my feet changed, and I feel like some of my facial features changed with each child. My hands definitely changed. I know I've, like, even right now, after having, so my last child wasn't my child, it was my niece. Even after having her, which was 3 years ago now, I still can't wear my wedding ring. I haven't been able to wear, now I'm almost there, but I feel like my ring sizes will forever be changed. Like, it's just so weird how stuff like that is. It's just so strange. Anyways, and I'm a size 8 shoe now, which I used to always be a 7.5. And not that that's a huge difference, but it's just kind of crazy how stuff like that happens. Anyway, so, sorry, getting yolks separated from the whites is always so, I don't know, it's not scary, it's just messy and, yeah, messy. Anyway, I should get one of those yolk separator thingies, but, and I'm saving my egg whites because, thank you chickens for the eggs. I mean, I feel like I need to. Anyway, so as I think I mentioned before, so there was a huge span between my boys. So there's almost 9 years difference between, 8-9 years difference between my 2 boys. And within that time, I tried so many different weight loss. I was on a huge weight loss journey just because, now this one's going to be hard. I did not crack this in the middle. And we're going to struggle here just for a second. Ooh, I got some shell, but hey. All right. That one was a little gross. So I went through all the things, and and not to say I did do the weight loss at first for, I feel like, so okay, how do I put it? So it was kind of hard to distinguish whether I was doing the weight loss for me or like for my health, for health reasons, or if it was for vanity reasons. Like, was I doing the weight loss because I was, quote, being told that I was supposed to look a certain way or be a certain size. And it's so hard to know what, in your own mind, like, am I doing this because I want to be healthy and all the right reasons, or am I doing this just because XYZ is telling me that I should look this way, or should have these sort of conceptions about what our bodies should portray to the world. Okay, I'm gonna pause because this is floofing up a lot, and I just want to get it all in the mixer. So I'm going to sift my flour, which is a little loud, and then I'll come back and start dumping everything. Okay, I've got the flour sifted. I'm gonna go ahead and dump the milk, and I gotta remember this is only a little bit of it, so I've got to get more milk in there. My egg yolks, my 4 egg yolks. Ooh. And let's see. So I got my sugar. Yeah, see, I'm just all over the place. Anyway, and let's see. I'm not quite sure how much I should include in all this conversation, because like there's a lot in terms of what goes along with your body, your perception of your body, and all the things. I mean, the things that you've gone through in your life, how you were raised, how, you know, the external pressures that you have, whether it be, whenever there's a tablespoon of vanilla, I'm always like, really? It's a lot. Anyway, whether it be the internet, whether it be just all the things, you know, just always, there's can be so many different aspects of, you know, what each of us experience that affect our outlook on ourselves. There we go. There's so many things that can affect that, and they're definitely not okay. Let me say, I just wasn't raised in a situation where it was like, my mom always told me, you know, I knew my mom loved me. I knew all that. I knew all the things, but it wasn't ever like telling us, like, you're beautiful or all of that. It was, you know, it was always implied and assumed and all the things and whatever, but it wasn't like I wasn't craving to hear that. I wasn't craving to hear that I was beautiful or anything. It was just, you know, it was just kind of like an unspoken thing. That we believe you're beautiful and all the things, but it was just unspoken. So it's not like, but it wasn't like a norm. It wasn't like a norm to get that type of affirmation. Let's just say. All right, I'm gonna spin you around to my favorite cabinet. This is my KitchenAid mixer cabinet that I love to pieces, and I probably should show you it to you a little bit better, but so all I have to do is reach down, pull two levers, and my KitchenAid, yay, comes out. So I'm just gonna I put all the ingredients in this bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and attach it to my mixer. I'm gonna attach the dough hook, and look, I have chickens. There's more chickens up here. There are chickens on my mixer, and I added those are stickers. So I'm gonna go ahead and plop this and mix it, and then I'm gonna add my butter. It said to mix it and then add your butter. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a bread making tip. My dough doesn't seem to be the amount of flour that it said in the recipe was 3 cups, and it doesn't seem to be the consistency that I want. Now, bread has taken a lot of time for me to kind of understand, but I need the dough to be not stuck to this bowl. It looks a little watery for me. It's not adhering together. So I'm gonna just slightly put in a little bit of flour until it starts to do what I want it to do. I'm gonna try to show you. It might be a little difficult. As you can see, the dough is very watery. It's not coming away from the edge. So I'm just gonna put some flour in and I'll show you the difference. Okay, that's how you want it to look. See, it's all pulled away from the pan. And there we go. So I'm gonna let that rise for a long time. So it's like an hour or so, but we're gonna talk. And I definitely won't talk for an hour, but. Okay, I've covered my bread with some plastic wrap and a towel, and we're just gonna let that sit. And I'll figure out how I'm gonna bake it. I don't know, I think I'm just gonna make a couple of loaves to just eat as toast, or, you know, because my family likes to have just little things sitting about so they can just either snack on it or know what to eat for breakfast. So I think we'll just do that. That'll be fun. So it's a nice sweet bread recipe. I wouldn't use this recipe for like anything savory-ish because it does have sugar in it, and so it is definitely sweeter. So yeah. Anyway, where was I in our conversation? So yeah, it's not like maybe I did crave to hear that I was, pretty or this or that, or, but at the time it didn't, I don't think it didn't bother me. I wasn't like, and it was very simple. Like, my upbringing there, makeup, we talked about it, me and my mom, but it wasn't like you have to wear makeup or anything like that. If you can tell, I'm not wearing makeup. Like, I don't tend to wear makeup I don't tend to wear it. I'll wear it when I go to church or a special occasion or things like that. Like, I will do that. But other than, but it wasn't like, like very, I don't want to say it was a simple growing up, but it was just a very, come as you are type of growing up. Like, this is, we didn't need to have this or that or anything. And that's kind of like, so fast forward, like I had a daughter of my own, and it wasn't that I wanted to, or that I was, didn't appreciate my upbringing, but I was just like, I'm going to tell my daughter, you're beautiful, and encourage like, self-expression through whatever she's either wearing or dressing or makeup or all the things. And because I was kind of learning with her, kind of, because it's so funny. After I had my daughter, I did like a little stint in like makeup selling. I won't say the brand, but Smerry Smay. It rhymes with. And, just to kind of branch out and see if I liked makeup and that kind of thing. So it was just, it was a slow go for me. Yeah. So I feel like my body image and thoughts just kind of, how do I put it, changed between that 10 years between kids. And not for the better. I didn't really think about it, like what I was either wearing or what I looked like and things like that. And then I slowly started to care. And I don't know why it changed. I don't know why I started to care. I don't know why I started to think about it. Maybe it was because the internet was in your face so much. And I'm not saying anything bad about, I don't want to say anything bad about mommy groups or having mom friends, because Lord knows the mom friends that I have right now are my besties. Like, but I will say that there were some groups that I had to find my way out of because I didn't feel like, I could tell that I was comparing myself. I was comparing how I was as a mom, not only physically, but like all the other things. And I just kind of had to walk away. And I had a semi-healthy aversion, what is the word, or with food, but I could definitely tell that I emotionally ate, hence the podcast, Emotionally Baking. But I didn't really connect any of that with anything, with my emotions, with how I was feeling, with all the things, and my body image and all that kind of stuff. It just kind of, yeah, I just didn't, it was just all kind of filtered around and all that kind of stuff. But there was a switch. After struggling so long to, just keep a certain look and to keep a certain weight and to keep a certain, I had my son, my little, and so he is going to be turning 9 soon, and my niece is 3, so the 6 years between I had my son and I had my niece, I just said to it was a switch, because I felt like I could see that I was pushing myself too hard, but I realized that I was I wasn't being really healthy. I mean, even though I was like doing all the exercising, working at the gym, and doing all the different diets and all the different things, I wasn't being healthy with my mindset about it all. And so I kind of just, between having my son and having my niece, I decided, not that I was going to let myself go, but that I was going to accept the body that I was in. I had my son right on the cusp of when they said that I was going to be, what is the word? Geriatric. Now, I was geriatric pregnancy with my niece, but I was on the cusp with my son. And I knew that I wasn't going to bounce back right away, because I was older. This was the 3rd pregnancy. It wasn't just going to be whatever. And I told myself, okay, we're okay with that. We're going to be okay with that. And accepting how my body looked and was changing through that pregnancy, through just living in my skin, like living in the skin that I was in and loving myself, was more of the work than it was the actual diet and exercise and all that kind of thing. And to say that it was 6 years of work, it's probably right. Because when I got to the point to have my niece, I wasn't like the ideal weight to have a baby. You know how they say, like, what is the word? They don't want, I don't know. I wasn't overweight, but I wasn't skinny. And, it was just, this is, and I am super glad I passed all the medical tests and all the things, and I was healthy, otherwise, other than just being a little bit more heavy. And I did gain a lot of weight with her pregnancy as well. And after having her, I definitely saw, so it's been 3 years since I had her. I definitely saw my body. I was a different person in all respects. I was a different person physically, mentally, emotionally. Like having her really kind of changed how I thought of myself, how I thought of my body, what my body could do, what who I was as a person, like deep down as a person. And so there was a lot of emotional changes and a lot of not only physical changes, but all the things. And if you've ever been through medication to get pregnant, there's a lot of hormonal changes, a lot of things like that. And so, yeah, there was a lot that went along with it. And coming up on about 2 years after having her, it was something happened physically with me. Like I busted my knee. it was so silly. I was kneeling down and it just hurt. I knelt on it wrong and I heard a pop and there was just like so much pain. So I ended up going, because at this point, so about a year and a half ago, about a year and a half ago, I was over 200 pounds, but I felt fine. Like I felt the best inside than I had ever felt. I was proud of myself. I loved myself. It didn't matter what this looked like because inside I felt so good. So busted the knee, went to an orthopedic, blah, 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 and did is it MRI? I don't know, whatever they did. They scanned my knee. I tore some cartilage in my knee and they said, you have two options. Great. So you have two options. You can either have surgery, we'll do a surgery. So surgery was like that one side, and then the other side was physical therapy, cortisone shots, and you can lose weight. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't want to do surgery because if I can avoid surgery, I've had a couple in my life and I just want to avoid it. So the losing weight was like, okay, I've done it before, I'll lose weight. And it wasn't to lose weight because I didn't like this. It was lose weight because I gotta take the pressure off this knee. Well, stipulations be, oh, by the way, you can't do cardio because it's your knee. I couldn't do cardio anyways. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, or really, like, I can't run and do stuff like that because I have spina bifida. It's a whole thing. Maybe I'll talk about it sometime. But yeah, so I can't do cardio. Sorry. So you gotta lose weight another way. Okay, how am I supposed to do that? So I talked to my primary care and said, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't wanna have surgery. I need to lose weight to take this pressure off my knee, to heal it, to get it better, what am I gonna do? And we decided that I was a good candidate for a GLP-1. And was I nervous? Yes. I will tell you, we talked about this and decided that would be a good option to lose weight to help my knee issues. And I didn't decide to do it for a couple of months because I was crying. I was like, I don't want to use a medication to lose weight. I've done that. I did that. And it didn't give me, not that it didn't give me good results, it just didn't give me good inside feelings. Like I didn't want to do it again. It was a lot of mind work and a lot of emotional work to figure out and to say to myself, you're okay. Like, you're not failing as a person. You're not failing as an individual, mentally to take a medication. You're doing this because your health needs it, because of your other issues, and that's what we're gonna do. It took a while. It took a while for me to be accepting of that this was the path that I was gonna take. And will I say, so it's been a year since I started taking a GLP-1. And has it worked for me? Yes. I was pleasantly surprised, but I will say it has not been fun. I've had all the side effects, and I take a semaglutide and I have the nausea. It's just all there. And I'm actually to a point where I'm trying to get back down, like off of it. Cause I have like been there, done that. I'm done. Like I need to be done. We've lost the weight that we need to lose, and they say the knee looks good and the knee looks where it should be. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can go completely off of it. I I'm not sure. I'm hoping I can. Cross fingers. But yeah, so at the time that I started taking it, I was about 230, between 230 and 240. And I am now currently at 160. About 160, 165. And that's crazy to me because I don't think I've been this Heather in this body since I was before when my oh my goodness, like it's been at least 10, 15 years since I've been this Heather. And body-wise, I've always been this Heather. But not like, and I will say, like, the body dysmorphia is there. Like, thankfully, the changes were slow. It's taken a whole year to get to this point. But you don't realize, like, I wanted to stay in my other clothes. I wanted to stay in my other self. Like, and it was super difficult for me to go shopping and I don't like shopping anyways, but to go shopping for new clothes and new this and new that. I mean, new underwear, for goodness sake, and bras, because like things were changing, and it was, some people would say that, oh yay, I was frustrated. I was like, goodness, so, and it's still hard. Like I don't know, some people tell you, like, when you lose weight, like you look different than, they will say that you still feel like how you were. And it's true. Like, I still feel like and so it's just hard for me to, people say, oh, you look so great, you look so good. And I'm like, thank you. But I'm like, do I really? I mean, like, because sometimes, you just, I don't know. Sometimes I just don't know. I don't sense the changes or see it for myself, it's just so weird. Like, it's so weird to receive comments, or weird to see yourself as a different version of you, or this or that, or yeah. So all right, thank you so much for joining me today with this bread recipe. I hope yours turns out good. I don't know, we'll see what mine comes out as. And just remember, whether the salt in your recipes comes from tears or a teaspoon, we baked it up. Bye.